Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Riperile Africa Dzonga. Aimless arrows blunted by Bay. The citizens too hard for the Chili Boys. And Polokwane City keeps rising and shining. If this weekend's Betway Premiership matches were a track, it would certainly be Bob Marley's redemption song. Ingoma Mnandi iyaphindwa. So we are here reliving those results filled with stories of redemption. Igama nguvusiwe intokazi yakwaNgcobo, and welcome to the Betway Premiership Review Show. Move over back to the future. Now, the Betway Premiership Review Show is here to do time travel the right way. When we go back to the past, it's not by mistake, it's actually by design. So step into our time travel portal and let's go back to this past weekend to make it special. The mission is simple: to pick 4 top players from each game. They will then go into a pool from which we will select our team of the week. Picking those players is easy, but the real grind is whittling them to a solid starting 11. We will bicker and will definitely battle, but by the end, we will have a team worthy of the title. Weekend special. Now, to select that brilliant bunch, we have a panel that watches these players closer than their coaches. It's the super journo, Mazola Mulife, a man that is a multiple award winner. Winning awards left, right, and center. The super journo. Which side this weekend? Interesting things? Yeah. Or was it a dull affair?
Yeah, the first half of that match, Richards Bay and Golden Arrows, was a dull affair, but the second half was lit.
The second half was certainly lit. At least we got to see a goal in that one. And from his vantage point in the sky, we have one of the best commentators in the country. If anyone disagrees with you, it is Grant Bissett. Grant, from your vantage points this weekend?
Yeah, well, thanks for the little bit of PR.
He was back home in Polokwane.
I was back home in Polokwane. And I mean, as far as 1-0 results go, very, very good game. Yeah, I can't wait to touch on that one.
And we will certainly be touching on that one. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the first stop in our journey back in time. Takes us to Saturday afternoon at Mpumalanga Stadium. This is where Richards Bay finally moved away from the basement of the Betway Premiership log, where it started, as what Mazola says, as a dull affair.
If Richards Bay are still looking for a coach to take over the hot seat, then caretaker coaches Ronnie Gabriel and Sibonelo Ngomere are slowly applying the heat. Management may need to stop looking for a coach or accepting any CVs if the Natal Rich Boys can build on Saturday's 1-0 victory over Golden Arrows at Mpumalanga Stadium. The coaching duo took charge of their third match since Brandon Truter was shown the door and finally cracked the code to end a 3-month winless run in the Premiership. The recipe for victory was simple and, more importantly, effective. 1. Frustrate the hosts. 2. Create many opportunities. And 3. Get a goal and hold on for dear life.
Oh, finally, they take one, and it's the players just come off the bench that makes a breakthrough. In fact, it's Zakali that scores. The numbers Zakali. Finally, they take a chance. The waiting is over for Oguhle. Lindo Oguhle, Spuzo Zakali delivers in the nick of time.
The winning goal was what dreams are made of. 19-year-old Lindo Kukle Zikali scored his first ever goal in only his second professional start against the KZN rival to top it all off. There's probably no better way to open your account as a professional baller. With the victory, Bay cut ties with bottom spot, at least for now.
Now, these two sides played like teams that recently lost their coaches. Now, if you were hired, Grant, to be the coach for either one of these teams and you had to put together your starting 11, which of these players impressed you?
Yeah, well, I think first off, I don't know if you had a hand in it, but the young man who ultimately won the game and was selected as man of the match, I think...
She picked him.
But Zikali's amongst a whole lot of youngsters or fairly young players that Richards Bay have. It's not looking as bad as maybe the table seems to suggest for the Natal Rich boys. There's certainly some players, I think, that if they can get a coach, if they decide that we are installing someone permanently that really is able to unlock the true potential of these players, They should build on this and start improving.
While you're on that note, Grant, let's then get straight into it and speak to the gentleman prior to this gave me their top 2 players in each of the positions. I'm going to put those to you now, and we're going to now select one player for each position until we have our 4 for the game. So we start then with you, Grant. At the back, goalkeepers Edward Mayova versus Salim Magula.
So I'll say up front, it's the man who kept the clean sheet because there's very little separating them, and also they have 2 top quality goalkeepers there at Richards Bay, and he's having to fight for his spot, which was not necessarily the case in seasons past, where you would know you're going to see Magula in between the sticks. So that's who I'm going with.
All right, we go with Salim Magula. Let's then move on into the defenders, Mazola. We've got Usimpiwe Mgcineka, who you just mentioned not too long ago. Azish.
Yeah, it's a tough one. The skipper always solid. But if you know, having my pick out saying Siyabonga Dube has impressed me. I've watched a lot of Richards Bay games.
You're always in Durban. Grant lives in Polokwane. You live in
I've watched
Durban.
a lot of Richards
And a
Bay
point to
games.
prove against his former teams. I think that also just elevated his game a bit.
So Dube was solid for me.
All right, and then we then move on into the midfielders. Here we've got Tlakusani Mthethwa, Nolindo Buhle, the man that was all the difference in terms of those 3 points.
Ultimately, that's what it's about. As much as I think Mthethwa had a great game and was part of the reason they won. It's the man who scores the goal, and still a teenager.
The difference.
Big things to come from him. I know Mazola had a little bit of chance to chat with him, so good head on his shoulders, and I think we're gonna see big things from him in the future.
19 years old.
Yeah.
19 years old gets the nod there. And finally, moving on into the forwards, we've got Uyanela Mbutsuma as well as Utulani Gomez.
Yeah, they both impressed me, especially the young Yanele as well. But Tulani, I tell you, this kid is a star. I think in the future, we're going to see some goals. We may even see some big teams coming for his signature, Tulani Gomez.
Is that who you're going with?
That's who I'm going
Okay. I just need to make sure. You spoke about Abu Mbutuma back in the starting 11, so I thought perhaps we were going a different direction.
Tulani was solid for me. Tulani was solid.
Solid for you there. That's our solid 4 for this encounter. Golden Arrows up against Richards Bay. In goals, we've got Salim Magula. We then have Udube Zikali in the midfield, and finishing it off in terms of the forwards is Ukumete. That is that encounter. All right, now over into East London on Saturday. Cape Town City finally ended their 2-match losing run by beating the Red Hot Chili Boys, who are not hot this Saturday. Caden Francis scored a crucial late winner. Gentlemen, did he do enough to make the cut in terms of your top 4? Let's get straight into it.
Yeah, I think so. So. I mean, when you like we were mentioning with Zikali, when you make the difference, you definitely have to make the cut. So Caden Francis makes the cut.
And let's tell you who he made the cut against, because we had in the midfielders Kamokhelo Mokocha as well as Caden Francis. Tell me, okay, no, let's move on. Let's just give it to Caden Francis. Let's not go around in circles and give Kamokhelo false hope. It's not going to change anything. Let's then move on into the goalkeepers department.
I mean, Stanley Wabali's been excellent the last few games, but I don't know if he's culpable for the goal. He maybe leaves a little bit too much space at his near post. Does it deflect off in Ndlovu? Does it not? But ultimately, Darren Keat keeps that clean sheet, although he was well protected by his backline, and he's coming off a long streak of conceding to almost every shot on target. So we'll go with Keat.
Oh, we're happy for Keat. Keat is back. Will he make the final cut, though? That's the big question. Moving on then into the defenders, where we have Cupido up against Makele.
Yeah, Keanu, I mean, a great game. In fact, there's very few games you can look at where you say he hasn't really stepped up, even in matches where they've struggled and conceded a lot. In fact, it was a game for the defenders where both sides really were able to shut down the opposition attackers. But I think Keanu just edges it over Thabo Makele. It was a toss-up for me between Makele and Ndlovu. Maybe that was an own goal that he scored. I'm not quite sure if
Keanu it is.
Yeah, but Keanu it is.
All right, Keanu it is. And finally, up in the forwards, Sinotolo Kwaiba up against Darwin Gonzalez.
Yeah, two players that are always quite impressive.
Yeah.
But my pick here, Grant, I don't know if you agree, but Darwin Gonzalez.
Can we bet a little bit about that? Gonzalez, I think.
This is a quick pick. What are you betting back and forward?
He's picking up with each game. I think he didn't start the season well. Kwaiba, I don't know. He's just, for me, he's a constant threat. He's always occupies the defense. He's one of those true athletes that they have. I don't know. I want to put Kwaiba's name in there, but I'm happy to go with Gonzalez as well. I think it's a game in which both were there, but they just didn't quite pick it up.
Well, I guess V will have to be.
There we go.
Oh, you're
We
not
did it on
agreeing
purpose.
with your buddy?
not agreeing.
Yeah, no, not buddy.
I'm going for Darwin.
Okay, you go for Darwin Gonzalez
He's
and you're
saying
going for
Kwaiba.
Kwaiba. It's a tough one. It's a very, very tough one, but I'm going to have to.
The winning team.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with Kwaiba.
Oh, okay.
Askis Mazon.
I mean, he made a good argument.
He did make a good argument. You made zero arguments. All right. Going back to Friday night, we kicked off the weekend's action with a KZN derby, Usuthu Olumabeshankone up against Twitli Twahla. And this is how that one played out.
No matter how tough things may be, Amazulu don't miss out on claiming bragging rights against a KZN rival. A fortnight after hammering Richards Bay 3-1, Usuthu claimed the scalp of provincial rivals Royal AM on Friday night. The 2-1 victory, however, was not a true reflection of the game. Had it not been for wasted opportunities, it could have been a massacre. Collecting 3 points, however, is all that matters, as Pule Eksteen and Mondli Mbanjwa netted for Usuthu.
Porto's way out of his goal. Surely here the opener, and there's confirmation. Well, it's well deserved in the end. Pule Eksteen with the finishing touch. Gifted really by the goalkeeper. Now, stolen away. Chance for number 2. Porto's out, but he's meant to. And Amazulu with a perfect start to the second half.
Levi Mashiani pulled one back for Royal AM, but Usuthu held on for a third win this season. It hasn't been an easy start this season for Amazulu, but co-coaches Arthur Zwane and Vusumuzi Vilakazi are making the long walk up to freedom on the log standings.
Also, Olumabeshankone secured themselves a 2-1 victory in this encounter at KZN derby. We look at Umpiya Keno Pagimpi finally just getting things working. The team is able to find the back of the net, but most importantly, the 3 points.
Yeah, you know, I usually loathe Friday night games because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a long evening.
No, it's because he has better things to do. He has somewhere to go.
on the back of a long, heavy week. But this was value for money. I thoroughly enjoyed this performance in the rain, Noha, in KZN when Amazulu playing Royal AM. So I was impressed. I'm finally seeing Coach Arthur Zwane's methods. I think the two of them.
Only.
No, I'm about to get to that.
Coming.
Like the two of them, have been known to have a similar approach.
Style, yeah.
Similar style in the past. If you look at Golden Arrows, if you look at Richard Bay when Coach Vivi was there, but Coach Arthur Zwane, you can kind of see who's more in charge of the team. In terms of how they play, and the attacking players, Igodaro, Tepang Moremi, even the midfielders, Ethan.
That's what I say. How attacking their midfielders are.
Rowan Human. You can see that they found a spring in their step. They are energized. They new manager bounce, and I hope it lasts.
Let's get then straight into our top 4 pick then. We start with the goalkeepers. We've already mentioned Mboto, who you said has been brilliant, up against a Richard Ofori. Let's go.
Yeah, so, I mean, Ofori concedes only 1 goal, but he's 100% at fault for that goal.
Carries it back into...
Yeah, Mboto, people had question marks over the first goal, how far he advanced, but ultimately he made so many saves, and it's got to be important.
Okay, I love it when things go unexpected.
That was unexpected.
Mazona, are you going to give us something else unexpected here? Defenders Rampatele up against Hanamu. Let's go.
I know I'm becoming guilty of being a Ramaswamy Mphahlele
You are a
singer.
Rama fan.
But no surprises
You know his
here.
clan name?
No surprises here. Via no Rian Hanamu also had, in fact, like a lot of the players, they had good games, but Rama has been consistent in coming back into the team. My pick, obvious, bar one, lunch bar or whatever, Rama Mphahlele.
Obvious. All right, let's then move on into the midfielders ground where we've got Human up against XD. This is a tight one.
Yeah, and because I blessed you with a short answer on the goalkeepers, let me... I won't. You know what? Hendrik Ekstein wins man of the match. He scores a goal. He had a great game. And he's always trying to advance the play, which I really like. But on the flip side, I feel like Rowan Human draws so much attention. Just sort of the way he's always looking to be positive and he can carry the ball. And it's his assist that basically sets up Ekstein to shoot from distance, but into an open goal. So I'm going to go against the man of the match pick,
Okay.
only by the very finest of margins.
I think we put pressure on
And
Grant.
you have, and I'm going to pick Rowan Human.
Okay, we're going to go with her and Human there. And then finally wrapping it up, Mazul, in terms of the forwards, let's give us your pick. Igodaro, I Google materially. Ihlezi fresh, ihlezi ready, up against Umbanjo.
Yeah, again, another tough one. Both doing well. Mlondi also getting a goal on the score sheet. But I think this guy, Igodaro, has brought a different dimension to the Amazulu attack. So for me, just based on consistency over the last couple of games and this particular game, setting up the goal, being the focal point, he's my pick. Etiosa Igodaro.
Okay, let's give you a confirmation then of those top four. We've got Mboto in goals. We've got Ramashlam Mphahlele, aka Mazola's favorite player at the moment. We've got Rowan Human, and wrapping it up is Etiosa Igodaro. All right, SuperSport United. This is the next one we then move into. Clearly got Saturday's memo of winning by a goal to nil. They also scored late. So, Mazona, but I given had must be a happy man because he was starting to get grey hair.
Yeah.
Picks.
It was a nervy sort of last couple of weeks. But I think for me, if we look at in gold, we look at Takasani Mbanjwa as well as Elvis
Chippa Isafan.
Yeah, but Takasani continues to keep clean sheets. I think now this is his fifth clean sheet in six games. He's consistent. The coach did say that he's going to drop himself, and so far he's keeping himself in the goalposts, putting Ricardo Goss on bench.
Yep.
So the great Chippa on the side for now. Akaje Aisi Hanyani.
We'll see. Let's wait for that culling cow. Chippa may be coming back for more. He's just waiting for the 100 Ks. We then move on into the defenders where we have Sanoka up against one of Hugo Bruce's favorite people, Hugo Mobi.
True. And
He's a nice person.
He is. And the only ever present for SuperSport United this season is Nico. It could have been anyone in the back line for SuperSport United, to be honest. Bilal played really well alongside Sanoka. They both have different roles and they execute them well. I'm going to go with Pogiso. He's been consistent now for the last few games in a row. After enduring a difficult start to SuperSport United career, but just trying to find his feet there. He's really, really solid. Captain's display, Pogiso.
All right. Because we've got you talking now, and you can wrap it up quickly for us. Let's go straight to the forwards before we give Mazola the midfielders. Bradley Grobler up against Vincent Boele.
Vincent Boele had a good game. If it not for Elvis Chippa pulling off, I think, his two best saves against Vincent. He's a good shot, but how can you go against Bradley? 2-2 now.
Over green, man.
He's
The man.
when he gets a chance, he puts it away.
He
I
does.
do think the defense of Magesi could have done better in this instance if fewer players had been raising their hands for a potential offside, which was nowhere near, and actually trying to prevent Bradley from scoring. It might have been a different outcome, but what a finisher.
I have an
Bradley.
interesting Bradley Grobler stats. Every time that Bradley has scored a goal, his team has never lost a game. The only time it happened was once, and it was in 2014. Isn't that nice for
Must I
him?
return the
Yes, it
stats? Every season that he's played at least one game for SuperSport United, he's scored. That's 13 seasons. He scored in that season. There
That's
you go.
crazy.
Whose stat is better?
That's
Yours.
mine.
Yeah. Damn it.
All right, Mazola, thank you for backing me up. I'll back you up now. Let's get the midfielders going. We've got Keenan here up against Apiwe Baliti.
Yeah, like Grant was saying, a lot of the picks, it could have been either or, but I think Keenan Aya, a player that I rate highly, coming back from abroad to, solidify his name in South African shores. He gets my pick for this game. He's been solid even in the previous games, setting up a goal here and there.
Yeah.
And against Magesi, he was solid again. He gets my vote.
All right, so Keenan Aya gets the nod there. Confirmation of all those players. In terms of the forward, we've got Bradley Grabla, we've got Keenan Aya, we've got Bagiso Sanoka, and then Sibe Nombanja, who is out in goals. All right, the final stop on this time traveling trip of ours is Polokwane, Grant's home away from home. Now, Rise and Shine took on Marumo Gallants, looking to avenge their cup defeats to Dan Dan's Chargers, and this is how things went down.
Could it be? Could Polokwane City actually be in the title race? It's still too early to tell, but Rise and Shine appear to be gate-crashing a party that the big guns are hosting at the summit of the Betway Premiership table. With Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates playing in the CAF Champions League over the weekend, City used the opportunity to close the gap at the top to just 1 point with a 1-0 victory over Marumo Gallants on Sunday. Sitting pretty in third place, Rise and Shine have explosive winger Mkabelo Ramabu to thank for another victory at home. Ramabu got his name on the score sheet for a second week running.
Oh, he's on the move, and he's got in behind once again. Nkwe with a beautiful cross. Oh, a wonderful goal. Ramabu 2 in 2. It's just rewards for the hosts. And again, it's Nkwe who's instrumental.
Should they be ruled out? Probably not. Well, here's why. Last season, City finished 8th and recorded 9 victories throughout the campaign. This season, the win over Gallants was their 6th in 11 matches, a clear indication of their vast improvement. Write Puti Mahafiz's Chargers off at your own peril.
So Grant has been to Polokwane so much, he's now regarded as a local. He was back there once again for the most entertaining match of this round. Grant?
Yeah, in between
I was home.
in between shopping around for apartments, I was able to commentate on this game.
Oh, it's still apartments. I thought you were buying furniture now.
Well, very, very enjoyable game. And I think we anticipated that it would be because of how the two teams play. Marumo Gallants are not going to change the way that they play, and
It's beautiful play. They just
It
need
is,
to win
it is.
more
But
often.
right into the hands of Polokwane City, and they executed to perfection what you would expect them to do against a team that will push up. The amount of times that the entire Gallants team were inside Polokwane City's half, although they were chasing the game, to be fair, was astounding. But a word for the home team. They're just clicking, man.
They are just rising and shining.
They are.
Oh, this Putimo Hafe is not from Dave.
He's the real thing.
He's the real thing.
Yes.
And of course, this is a Polokwane City side that's just a point behind both Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates on the log standing. Let's get then into the goalkeepers in this one. Let's speak Manuel Sopunga up against Washington Arubi.
Yeah, two very good goalkeepers, experienced, but of course, because of Manuel's clean sheet over the last couple of games, in this one as well, some very important saves. I feel like he's a leader in this team, and it shows in how he marshals his back four, who are growing in confidence, by the way. If you look at Tongwe, Matuludi, the skipper as well, Uzamini, they are playing really well. So Washi made some good saves to keep Gallants, only to concede 1 goal, but Manuel Sapunga was solid for.
Washi doesn't get the nod. Okay, it's Manuel Sopunga there. Let's go into those defenders then, Grant. We've got Ngoye going up against a man Mazola just mentioned, Nan Matuludi.
Yeah. Also, I'd love to look at this Polokwane City backline, including the goalkeeper, and see if it's the most consistent backline in the division. I suspect that it is. Yeah. 2 fullbacks who you might as well characterize as attacking players at this point. It's a difficult one. But Mataludi, the engine on this man is unbelievable.
When that
But
assist, bro.
Polokwane, that assist. And also should have had his first ever senior goal. Bent his run beautifully, was onside, scores, and then I think it's 3 minutes later goes on to get in behind again and provide a gorgeous assist. So Polokwane.
Okay, I had literally started writing down and I was going the other way because you were just Grant. Okay, let's then move on into the midfielders. And here we've got Patuchedze and Nange going against Batlhabane.
Yeah, but Kabane was man of the match. His first senior start.
One sub appearance before that.
One sub appearance before that. And boy, oh boy. And Coach Putimu Hafe's comments after the game, he says, we are grooming a beast.
Amen.
And the way he played, typifies someone who he played like a veteran, especially against a troublesome team that are ball players, and he blocks most of their attacks and got man of the match. So I can't go against the decision and what the coach said. So Batlhabane for me gets my nod for being in the
Skisi Patuchedze. Next time, my brother. Finally, in the forwards, Grant, who are you giving to us? You narrowed it down to just 2 players, Ramabu and Daniels.
Yeah, Polokwane City actually had to play slightly differently because of the lack of availability of their 2 big men, Laise and Douglas. So now Raymond Daniels, as small as they come, so quick, and honestly had a wonderful game. Hasn't got a look in the starting 11 for months now. Had a great game, but Ramabu, I think each week he just grows and grows, and now he has...
Like the team. They just get better every week.
I mean, first goal of the season comes last weekend, and now he's doubled up already, and that is a difficult finish. Yes, it's a great cross from Nkwe, but the way it bounces, technique is beautiful, just cushions it into the goal, leaves Washi standing. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Ramabu.
Okay, Ramabu is the final player there. So confirmation of those 4 players in this encounter. Polokwane City up against Marumo Gallants. We've got Sapunga out in goals. We've got Kwe in defense, Batlhabane in midfield. And up front, we do have Ramabu, the man that found the back of the net in the 20th minute for Rise and Shine. So there you have it, folks. Our pool of players is complete. Let's quickly recap our standout performers in all of those encounters. So we've got, going from the top, goalkeepers, Magula, Keat, Mpoto, Mvanjwa, Sapunga. In defenders, we've got Udube, Cupido, Mpahlela, Sanoka, as well as Nkwe. Midfielders, Zikali, Francis, Human, Aya, and Batlhabane. And finally in the forwards, Gumete, Kwayiba, Igodaro, Krobla, and Ramabu. That's a lot. Co-coaches. Can I first ask? Let me also say.
But which of us is Arthur and which is Kanu?
He's going to say he's Arthur because he said Arthur's the one that's more in control. So let's first get the confirmation. Are we going with the 4-3-3 formation for this one? For our starting 11?
Make life easier.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so we're going with the 4-3-3. Let's then start with, let's start difficult. Let's start with the forwards. Okay. I'll narrow them down for you. You've got Gumete, Kwayiba, Igodaro, Krobla, and Ramabu. We're picking 3 out of the 5.
Yeah, a few of these jump out immediately at me. I say, like, if you want goals scored, doesn't matter how many touches he has. And it didn't have many, but Bradley Krobla, I think I would put him in there. And then the picks will become interesting. I don't know if you agree with the Krobla pick.
Are we going with Krobla?
I thought the obvious pick was going to be Igodaro. But
okay, so is that your obvious pick and Krobla's his obvious pick?
Yeah. So
shall we go for both?
We can go.
Yeah.
Okay. Krobla, Igodaro. Yeah. All right.
See, now it becomes difficult because
between Gumete, Kwayiba, Ramabu.
For me, it's between Gumete and Ramabu.
Agreed.
Mara, he fought so hard for Kwayiba back then.
No, it doesn't mean he needs to.
But in comparison to a Gumete and a Ramabu, he falls short.
Yes, no, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Okay.
And now the lead co-coach must...
I already know where I'm going if you guys need a tiebreaker.
Yeah, he probably agrees, but I would think Ramabu.
Yeah, I do agree.
Just because obviously with the form that Polokwane City is in and him being a major contributor to that, I love the young Gumete growing in confidence, but Ramabu...
You guys could have just disagreed to let me be the tiebreaker. Okay, we've got Ramabu there. So those are our forwards, Igodaro, Krobla, Ramabu. Let's then move on into another difficult one where you've got 3 to pick. Midfielders, you've got Zikali, Batlhabane, Francis, Human, Aya.
Gosh, I want him to go first.
Okay. Super Journo, your pick?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Zikali, I think purely because I had such an insight into that game, speaking to
And he brought it to life.
the young men afterwards. And yes, as you say, V brought it to life. I think we're going to see a lot from this kid this season at only 19.
Yeah.
He gets my pick to be in our team.
I 100% agree with that one, because of all the teams that these players play that we're picking from, this is the side under the most pressure. So you feel like it was a huge burden on him as well, playing in that role. Yeah.
The 19-year-olds, they can carry the pressure.
Just wanna play.
All right.
Play.
Who's up next? We left with Baklabane, Francis, Human, and Aya.
This is where it gets tough.
Shout for Baklabane there.
Yeah, Baklabani, because now we're talking about a different type of player here. Just his ball retrievals and the way that he was so tidy on a full senior debut. So yeah, I'd love to put Baklabani in the team.
All right. Then we are left with Francis, Human, and Aya.
For me, when you talk about Keenan Aya, you're talking about a more all-round performance than maybe the other two.
Yeah.
Ron Human and Kaden Francis getting more on the front foot. So I don't know, maybe we should let her settle it with a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I was thinking
probably.
between Human and
Probably because
and
I was gonna make a case for Rowan Human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You guys
yeah,
are
so we're gonna-
incorrigible.
so I'm gonna leave it to you, senior coach.
All right. The senior coach in this one is going with, I'm going to seem like I am literally always on your side. All right. I also believe that the performance was more all-rounded.
Look, I'm not.
It was holistic. It was more of a holistic performance. So
That's
I'll
fine.
go with
Top
that.
player. Top
So
player
that's
advice, yeah.
our 3. Let's then go into the defenders. We're picking 4 out of these 5. Dube, Cupido, Mpatlele, Sanoka, and Gwe. Perhaps just pick the one you want to drop. That'll be easier.
What if I were to say Rama, right?
Never. Rama has to be the captain of the team.
Yeah, which play did so harsh? That's a harsh way to do it. But is there someone that you think maybe the other 4 were just a cut above?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Maybe a Sanoka, if I look at the performances that brought to the table.
Not because he had a bad performance,
Not
but
because
just because I think he performed in a defense where everyone performed so well.
Yeah, so I think if you look at Rama, Dube, Tongwe, those
Cupido.
those make sense to bring them in. And if we drop one, I would argue.
And that actually looks like a proper back four as opposed to picking,
All right, so we take Mpatlele, Cupido, Dube, and Gwe. And
that solves it. That settles it, V.
Bakisa, maybe next time.
Next time.
All right, finally, goalkeepers. You've got 5 goalkeepers. We can only pick one. We've got Magula, we've got Sapunga, we've got Keats, we've got Mpoto, we've got Mbanjwa.
You go from just needing to drop one to now pick 1 out of 5.
Perhaps just choose the 4 you want to drop.
You know, it's strange because there's 4 goalkeepers here who kept clean sheets, and there's a goalkeeper who conceded more than anyone on the weekend, but did the most.
Yeah.
But
we can drop Mpoto because he did concede.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so
Even though
we
he
drop
did the
Mpoto.
most. Look, I think if I were to argue strongly for someone to be the goalkeeper for this team, it would be Manuel Sapunga.
Yeah.
I think it fits the theme of this Timo Hafe team that is doing so well. And just as the coach is not getting plaudits, we are giving him his flowers, and his team should get the flowers as well. Manuel Sapunga, for me, gets the nod.
I agree with that one, and I'll tell you why, because there are instances in the past where he's prone to do a few things that you're like, whether or not they get punished for it or not, where you're like, ooh, that could have gone badly wrong. And there were fewer of those instances in this game. So I think it's a really good shot.
If you ask me, I think he's also the difference between them having made the top 8 at the end of last season and not.
Yes, yeah.
Solid goalkeeper. Solid goalkeeper.
All right, solid goalkeeper gets the nod. Just rising and shining is this Polokwane City side. All right, who is leading our team, gentlemen?
Timo Hafe.
Yeah, how can you argue
how
against?
Can we not? I mean, look at the log table. It tells a story.
Also, just a little anecdote from the match. Clone Kwe, he's far up the field. The defense of Marumo Gallants, they push up. He finds himself, offside. He drops deep. He he was about to go back. He was about to go back all the way. Puti Mohafe encouraged him, stay where you are. He picks it up, he plays the 1-2 over the top. They score the goal from that. So also the coaching moments from Puti Mohafe, I think, yeah, he deserves it.
Puti Mohafe, it is. He is the man leading our team. Let's give you a recap of that team. And remember, it does not have to make sense. As long as we've got a 4-3-3 formation and we've got a goalkeeper in the goal post, that's all we need. Goals for us this weekend is Sapunga. Defense, we've got Dube, Cupido, and Patlele, as well as Ngwe. Moving on into midfielders, we've got Uzikadi, Batlabane, as well as Aye. And finally, these are the players that will find the back of the net. It is Igodaro, Chrobla, as well as Ramabu. The 11 team, the 11 players in the team that will be led by the Polokwane City coach in Puti Mohafe. I'm your weekend special. Come on, God. I'm your weekend. Come on, God.
Next episode.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's only Amazulu and Ike that can dance here. The Betway Premiership will be your dessert this December while you enjoy the delicacies that come with this month. So please do enjoy the festive season and the feast of football and have a safe and blessed festive season. Our time travel portal needs some cooling down. So this is me, Vusi Wintogazi Ngwabo, as well as my co-coaches signing out. It is Umazala Mulife as well as Grant Bissett. We will be back with you again in the future to go back to the past once more. From us here at the Betway Premiership Review Show, it's goodbye and God bless.
Go.